Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Collection Mania Monday, and today we're going to look at the Feela colored pencils in my collection. Now I haven't used these in quite some time, so they are one of the original sets, one of the very first sets that I ever bought for my collection that was bigger than the Crayola set that I had. They have a huge selection of colors. There's 152 pencils in the set. So that's a lot of pencils for, just getting started with and that sort of thing. So I was really enamored with this set of pencils when I got them because there's so many different colors and so many different ranges, and absolutely fantastic set of pencils to begin with. As I grew as a colorist and started acquiring more and more and more pencils, they got further and further into the back of the lot. But still, a really good set of pencils. We have a great amount of colors. In the swatching of them, it does come with its own swatch sheet, which does have the names of the colors on them. However, on the pencils themselves, you have colored pencil, the number, and then Feela, and that's it. There is no color name on the pencil themselves. So make sure that you write down from your swatch sheet that comes with it, because it comes with a great big huge piece of paper with all the color names and numbers matched together on it. I haven't bought these in almost 3 years, so I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know if they've changed them at all or anything like that. Their packaging still looks the same when I look at it on Amazon, so I'm not sure if Fila has ever changed their stuff. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's the same great product that it was 3 years ago. Unfortunately, a lot of times, and with a lot of products that are budget friendly, it does seem lately that a lot of them are changing. And some of the things that they've been changing may not be for the best. I like the originality that they used to have, but you know they're trying to keep up with the trends, and I do understand that it's a sales thing. But at this point, we're going to look at the Filas. And like I said, this is an old set, so I can't guarantee that the new sets are the same or the same quality or the same ability or anything like that. Uh, the set does come with everything in number order, which to me is higgledy-piggledy. So I went through and I rearranged everything into their color order the best I could. So we've got the yellows, and they go into the sunshine light orange colors and into our oranges and our darker oranges. Then into our peachy colors and our coral colors, into our reds and our deeper reds and deep wine purples and wine colors. This set has a fantastic selection of dark reds. I really, really, really like the amount of dark reds in this. It also has a wonderful selection of pinks. So we go into our deeper pinks, our lighter pinks, and into our purpley pinks like our red violet colors, really deep lilacs and red purple and, grapes and light purples. So now we're into our purple area, and of course, like I said, they have a lot of really good pinks into our purples, into our really deep purples, and then into our blue purples, like our blue violets and our violets, and then into our blues, I missed one. It should be up here. Into our blues and our dark blues, into our turquoises and our light blues, into our aquatic greens, and then of course into our light aquatic greens, into our light greens. And it has a really, really good variety of green, which is really nice. And then into our more aquatic-y colors, and of course into our olives, into our browns. Another thing is it does have a really good selection range of brown, so it's not just brown, dark brown, it's got a really good level of light brown, as well as a really good level of the terracotta colors, which is really good. And then into our darker browns, into our blacks and our grays. A little bit lacking in my opinion on our grays, but it still has a really good range that you're still going to be able to get a dark, medium, and a light out of both warm and cold grays. And then of course into our metallics, and this set has a fantastic amount of metallic colors, and they work very, very nicely. So they are actually very metallic-y color, shiny type of color as well. So those are our swatch sheets. Now I have already recorded the, well, attempted to record this video, wasted an entire hour of my day, but that's perfectly fine. I don't mind. So I have already actually colored a picture with these pencils today, which is this one. Um, and I will be coloring a second one with you today so that you can see how well they go down and all of the pretty colors. So let's pull some colors. And like I said, we are going to do a second one, so we're going to do the flowers. So we're going to pull some floral colors. So let me grab my sheet here. Let's see, some pinks. Try not to, if you use these bags, try to make sure that your points are pointing in. I will have to actually readjust those so that they're not getting caught every time I open it. So let's start with our pinks. Let's do a lavender, which is a pinky purple, which is this one here. And we'll do wisteria as well, which should be this one. Like I said, these do have their numbers on them. Um, they don't have names on them, but they are numbered, so they are easy to find in your swatches if you line them up numerically the same way you would in your swatch. So then we're going to add pink, which is number 39. As soon as I can find it. I must not have put it where it belongs. Maybe that's 59. I think that's 59. Yeah, it's yeah, it's 59. Okay. So we've got some pinks and some light purples. And I think we're going to grab a light pink too. So let's use this one here. It's enough of a contrast. So we've got some purples, we've got some pinks. We need a yellow for the center. So I think we're going to grab this one, which is a sunshiny type of yellow. And pink, purple. Let's do blue. Pinks, purples, and blues. So let's grab the blue sheet here so that we know exactly what we need to grab here. So let's go with a nice acid blue. It's a nice dark blue. So let's do 144. That should be and then we'll contrast it with a very, very light blue, which is Crillian blue. And then of course we need our greens for our leaves. So we need number 31. Amazingly, it's leaf green. And let's do number 2, which is grass green. Now, some of mine, especially ones that I use a lot, the numbers have started to wear off. So I'm going to actually have to put a sticker on that. Now, I don't know if it may have not have been printed properly or if I've scratched it off. I can't guarantee either which way because, yeah. Like I said, this set is much older than most of my other sets. This is one of the very first sets that I ever got. So one of the things I did notice with these pencils is I do have a few that are not perfectly centered. And, you know, a slightly off center I don't mind, as long as I can still see the lead when I sharpen it. But I have had a couple that the leads are obscured all the way up to the tip uh, by the wood. So now I am going to sharpen these because, like I said, they haven't been used in quite some time. So I am going to sharpen them, make sure that they do sharpen quite well with the dull sharpener, and make sure that I've removed any wax buildup or wax bloom off of the pencils because they haven't been used in a while. So when you put your pencils away and you haven't used them in quite some time, do go through and make sure that you sharpen them because sometimes you may not see it. It, you know, usually shows up as a white discoloration on your pencil. Sometimes it won't, but when you color with it, it feels really, really scratchy, and it looks like there's no color coming off, and that's just a bit of a wax bloom on the core, and sharpening it will remove that little bit of wax. Coloring with it will as well, but you're going to end up using up the tooth of your paper just getting that wax off of your pencil. So even though that will help, I don't suggest it. What I suggest, of course, is just give it a quick little sharpen and it'll remove it for you. And get your pencils all nice and sharp, ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to switch you on over here to the other camera so that you can see a little bit better. So this is the one that I did earlier, and of course the recording wasn't going, so I don't know why that happened. I went through an entire hour explaining how to do this and how pretty it looked, and so we'll move on to this one. Perfectly fine with me. Just means that I get to play with all of the colors for my pencils today. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the hot pink here, and we're going to, of course, put in our shadow, our darker area. And we're going to do it as if the light is coming straight down, like straight forward, as if I'm the light. So I'm going to be their light. Of course, make sure that you feather it out a little bit so that when you put in your light color, it blends it together. And these are going down quite smooth, so they're not scratchy at all, which is great. I do find that with even expensive pencils, Sometimes the brighter colors or the darker colors, especially greens and blues, have a tendency to be a little bit scratchy, and I don't like the feeling of it. It drives me crazy, but that's just me. I have a tendency to have issues with feeling, you know, what's the senses, senses of touch. I can feel the vibration through the pencil, and with a scratchy pencil, that's just not a good feeling at all. Now try not to leave a hard line. Leave enough of a line that when you go through with your lighter pencil that you're going to be able to blend that together and not have it look like a stop and start. Now, because went through and did the dark first, I'm not going to go over a lot of it with the light because I don't want it to be taken over. And because this is so much lighter than the other color, it will dull it down more than I want it to. So you can, of course, go over your darker colors if you don't mind it being dulled down a little bit. Sometimes, especially with yellows and greens and stuff like that, it will actually brighten it up a bit. But with pinks and stuff like that, with a lot of white that's added to it, it actually dulls it down a little bit. So make sure that any areas that you do go over that you've brought down too light by going over it, that you go back over it with your darker pencil and then just go from the line itself, from the end of your darker pencil into your light area, and just blend it out so that you still have your shadow areas. Now you can, of course, eliminate this process altogether just by coloring the entire thing with your light pencil and then adding your darks after, which does make it a little bit quicker. I find that when I do that, I have more hard line, and I don't like the hard line, so I prefer to do it this way to soften those lines that connect the two colors. And it doesn't hurt me just to go over that dark just a little bit and brighten it up. Alright, let's put our yellow in for the center. And move on to the next one. So this one is going to be a purple. So we're going to take our dark purple and we're going to go down into the centers here. Now this one here I do believe is called Wisteria, and I'm going to use it for all the shadowy areas. So anywhere that it's being covered up by any of the other flower and down into the center will be colored this color. Now I'm not pressing very hard. The one thing that I found with this coloring this one is that reminded me coloring that one is that the Feelas blend really nicely together. So you really don't need a blending pencil if you blend them together with each other. They do cover really well, So you're not getting a lot of white spot. I am using 67-pound cardstock, so that may have a bit of influence on it because it isn't extremely toothy. It does have a good tooth level to it, but it's not so bad that the white spot is showing through everywhere. Now, because these are not the same color or the same variation of the same color, I can go over that purple a little bit and blend it and still have the definition of the purple there without eliminating it. With the pinks, the reason why I did it the way I did it without actually going over the color is because the light pink is just a variation of that darker pink. So going over it with a light pink would add more white to it, which eliminates the color altogether. But because this is a different color altogether, you're not eliminating that color. However, if you do find that you've gone over it a couple of times and it's a little too light, just go back over it with your dark pencil. Just remember to feather it up so that when you go over it again, that you can blend that together. So what you do if you find that you're having to add some darker color is just take your lighter color and just go down to where that darker color needs to be blended in, and it works out perfectly fine. And I know this is about the pencils, it's not about the technique, but I'm always teaching, I guess. I'm always telling you guys what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, which is a part of what I do, right? It's just who I am. And that is really pretty. I really like that. Looks like I'm going to have to color an entire picture with my Feelas again. Like I said, I haven't used them in so long. And I have so many colored pencils, that's why I haven't used them in so long. Because I get sidetracked. Get sidetracked with all the other pretties. Isn't that terrible? I have too many colored pencils, I think. Nah. Can never have too many colored pencils, can we? Is that a thing? I don't, although if my shelving unit has anything to say about it, I won't be buying any more for a while. It's a good thing my shelving unit doesn't have a whole lot to say about it. Other than ouch, ouch, ouch. Although my credit cards might have something to say about it, though. And they do have a say about it. Unfortunately, if my credit card company says, okay, you're done, you're not buying anymore, I'm pretty much done and not buying anymore. Not until the credit card's all paid off anyway. So we've added our center point there. Now these aren't extremely dusty, I just wanted to dust off and make sure that I didn't have any purple where I was going to be putting the blue. Now this one here I am going to go all the way underneath because of the shadow. Oh, that looks terrible. That isn't that blue gray color. I don't know why my filtration has decided that it needs to be a blue gray color. It's not that at all. And I'll show you when I put it over onto the other camera. Its coloration for some reason is a little bit better than this one. And I think it's because of the auto white, because there's not enough light. I have light on behind me, but I didn't turn on the overhead light that's attached to the camera. Let's turn that on and see if that helps. Yeah, that helps a little bit. It helps me see better. Haha! Imagine that. So the blue that I used is a darker blue, but it's not that gray color that you see. Which, like I said, I will show you on the other camera when we move it in. Now, as you can see, I've got this harsh line here. I don't like that. So I'm just going to very, very gently extend that darker blue out a little bit and eliminate that harsh line. And I'm just being really, really light with it. I'm not pushing down barely at all. I'm just using this darker color just to blend those two colors into one. Okay, now we need yellow for our center. And now we're going to use our greens. And I'm just going to color each and every one of these with the light green. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want the dark green to not be too washed out by the light green going over top of it. Now for the smaller ones, these little tiny ones, I may end up doing the dark green first and then adding the light green to it just to brighten it up. But for these larger ones, I want the light green to show through with a little bit more vigor. Because there's going to be a lot of shadows, but we want the light source, the light to reflect off of the parts that aren't shadowed. So put the light down first, and then you can see where your shadows are going to be reflected from. And if it's too dark, you can just go over it a little bit and you're all good. Now I am doing this very quickly, so sometimes, especially with small details, the less amount of time that you spend on them, the better they look. Because sometimes, if you're anything like me, you could end up overthinking it so much that you eliminate what you've done already, and then you end up having to redo it over and over and over again until you actually kick yourself in the pants and stop thinking about it too much. Stop working it too much. Because you can overwork a piece of paper. You can lose the ability to add any color, and then you're stuck with whatever color is there. And there's not a whole lot of eliminating that. You might be able to spray it with a fixative and eliminate it a little bit, but most times you're pretty much stuck with it. Alright, so I'm just doing these darker leaves areas here. And then we'll just grab our lighter green and just go to work with it. Now of course, if you find your darker green is too washed out, just go back over it. You shouldn't be pressing hard at this point. If you are finding that you're pressing hard, you're going to end up with those two colors and those two colors only. Okay, so there are our flowers. Now we're going to, I was going to say we'll do a background, but we won't. We're going to switch you over to the other camera here and let you see how that looks. I'm just going to bring you in a bit closer. And okay, so as you can see, I did not use a gray blue there. It is actually a very blue. Um, Hopefully you can see that okay. They went down really nicely. They covered beautifully. Not much more I can say about it other than the fact that they are a very inexpensive alternative to a larger set. So if you're just starting out or a complete and utter pencil collector like myself, the Feelas, as far as I know, haven't changed. Their packaging is all the same. Um, if they have changed, let me know. Of course, leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions or anything that you know about the Fila pencils, of course, leave me a comment. But personally, I like them. The only thing that I don't like is, of course, some of them are off center, and that is something that nowadays I wouldn't tolerate. I would actually send these back if I was to receive them today, only because of the fact that they are not centered. And the core itself is not affected by the centering of a pencil. My problem is I turn my pencil when I'm coloring. So as I've gotten further along in my journey, I know that if one side of my pencil is covered in wood, I'm not going to be able to color with that pencil very well, and it will scratch my surface. I know this from experience, and that is why I don't keep uncentered pencils. If they're slightly off center, perfectly fine. If they are really off center to a point where I have wood all the way up to the shaft, the end of the shaft of core, I would definitely send them back. Just because I turn my pencil so much that no amount of turning is going to give me color on one side. So that's just me, and of course only my opinion. So sometimes you have to go with your gut, and if you enjoy the pencils and you're enjoying the coloring of the pencils and you don't have a problem with the wood, by all means keep them. And of course, I'm glad I kept my Feelas, absolutely. They are a wonderful pencil. The metallic section in the Feela pencils is pretty much top notch. It's one of the best selection of metallic pencils that aren't scratchy um, that I used to have. Now I have the Derwent colored metallics, and those are just phenomenal. I just love those. But For a budget brand, these are about $30 on Amazon. They are still available on Amazon, and they do come up on sale all the time for deal of the day, so keep an eye on that. I will leave a link to them in the description below. And of course, this is going to be an affiliate link. All of my links are affiliate links, which means that I do get a small commission for the purchases you make after clicking the link. So please do use the links. It does help me out. And basically it gives funds to the channel because everything that I make off of that does go to the channel for contests, shipping and handling, things like that. Um, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and try to do that on any video that you enjoy because it does help me out in understanding what you guys want to see. Um, and it does keep me informed on what you don't want to see. So if I see something that has, very little likes or very little comments, I may not do that format anymore. And it may be something that everybody wants to see. It's just nobody hit the like button, so I don't know. So please make sure that you hit the like button on all the videos that you enjoy. It does give me information. Leave me a comment if you want to see something else that I have not done with a set of pencils or with some markers or anything else like that. Leave me a comment about it. If you know of a new set of pencils that I haven't tried before, leave me a comment. I do answer all of my comments. So if you have any questions or anything else like that, please make sure that you do put those out there because I will research it and I will come back to you and try to answer that question to the best of my ability. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel and you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, remember to ring the bell. It does tell you every time I put out a new video, which I do every day except for Sunday. Sunday I hold open for special occasions and special interviews. Last but not least, of course, is to remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic day. Bye bye for now.